You're listening to the Getting Into Alignment podcast with your host, Alexa Ray Smith. I am an energetic mentor for women in life and biz. I am here to help you energetically align with all of your desires. I help you do this by reprogramming your subconscious mind, manifesting your dreams, and quantum leaping your success. Each episode is going to be a coaching moment filled with life-changing information, tools, and concepts, activating you to create the most out-of-this-world life. This podcast is for the woman who is ready to have it all. The woman who wants to create a limitless life on her own terms. The woman who wants to build an empire, have spiritual wealth, and abundance in all areas of her life. It's time to raise your standards and elevate your frequency because your dream life is ready to be claimed. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. My name is Alexa Ray Smith, and I am an energetic mentor for women in business. And I have just had the most inspired download. The universe has been telling me all week to just record as many podcasts as I'm feeling called to record. Not just release one a week, but just really feel inspired, and I just have so much energy building right now because I have been in this vortex, the deep void of creation, doing so much shadow work, doing so much healing, doing so much to literally recode my DNA at an energetic level. And I have come out of this a whole new woman. Like, watch the fuck out, world. We coming in hot. I'm allowing my manifesting generator energy to just flow and activate you. I am here to activate you because that is just what I do, and I am accepting that that is the role that I play in other people's lives. So if you're feeling this energy and you're like, oh my God, girl, like what has happened to you? I need in on this. I just released for pre-sale my new mastermind, and this mastermind is literally going to go until the end of the year. This is the mastermind for women who want to quantum leap their businesses in 2022. We are going heavy in on the energetics. We're going to be talking about balancing your masculine and feminine energies. We are going to be talking about that all-in energy that manifests miracles. We're going to be delving deep into the quantum leaps and how when you stay plugged in and you don't allow yourself to unplug, you harness the personal power that you came here to hold on this planet. And when you do this, you are able to show up confidently and bring your magic to the world. It's a space where you're going to be able to stay plugged in 24/7. There's a daily Voxer, and there's going to be a monthly meetup, which is going to have a Q&A. It's going to have celebrations. There's going to be embodiment practices. You know me, mind, body, soul, and we're going to bring that energy. It's basically going to be a monthly party with your high vibe girl gang, and I'm so fucking excited for this. It is going to blow your fucking socks off, like guaranteed. Right now, you can go on my website and you can join right away. If you want to pay in full, if you're looking for a payment plan, just DM me, girl. I got you. On that topic, on the topic of feminine and masculine energy and balancing them, that is what I want to talk to you about today. The feminine energy and especially the feminine energetics conversation in terms of entrepreneurship, specifically with women in business, has been a really trendy topic. And I find that a lot of women are still unclear on what it is, not really sure how to tap into it, or they're just really looking for more clarity because maybe they are newer into the energetics world, or they just keep hearing it, but they just feel like every time they hear it, it's not explained to them in a way where they can tangibly take some action and move into it. So I wanted to talk today about balancing the masculine and feminine energies. And I really want to give some context, and I really want to give you some examples so you understand, not just from an energetic standpoint, but from a practical standpoint. Okay, I get what energetics is, I get what the masculine is, I get what the feminine is, and I know what that looks like for me in my life and in my business. Because when you are able to play with this, this is when you truly become a quantum creatrix. You can be, do, and have anything that you want, because this is the potency right here. This is it. Now, the reason why this is so powerful, because it is one of the laws of the universe, and arguably one of the least talked about laws of the universe. When I hear people talk about the masculine and the feminine energy, I almost never hear anybody talk about the law of gender, which is a universal law. People are so hyped up about the law of attraction and now the law of assumption, but they're not really talking about all of the other laws that go together in manifestation, in life in general. And it's not just one law, right? Like, they're all going to help build this beautiful life for you. And they're all going to help you in life, in business, and manifestation, because in my world, it's all one and the same. I work with women who have businesses or who are creating businesses, and how they manage themselves affects their business, affects their manifestation. Everything with me is holistic. So let's really talk about the law of gender for a minute, because I think it's very important to lay the foundation and the understanding behind all of it. That way, your logical mind has something to sit with. And then when we talk about the energetic, that's when you can feel into the limitless potentiality that's available for you. So the law of gender is a law that says there are masculine and feminine energies in everything. We live in a dualistic world. It's never one thing. There's always one thing and then the opposite of that thing. That's literally how we live in a 3D world. Masculine and feminine does not necessarily mean a male and a female. It is the different sides of the energetics that are manipulated and that show up in the world. It's really the yin and the yang of the universal laws. It's that balance, right? When I say yin and yang, you can visualize that symbol that's been around forever. And it's really being able to understand and work with the fluidity of these energies, because these aren't going to be energies that are fixed throughout your life. You will have seasons where you might be tapping more into one than the other, or you might just be doing that in a day or in certain areas in your life and your business, but it's never going to be fixed. So it's something that you're always working with. It's something that's constantly moving. So when you understand how to move with it or how to channel your energy in a certain way, depending on what season you're in your life and in your business, that's when you're able to really master the craft of energetics and of creation, right? Because these are the energies that go into manifesting things, that go into building a business, that go into making it so you have a sustainable business. These are practices that literally will help you with everything in life. And it's so important to understand this. So when we talk about the masculine energy and the law of gender, it's talking about the balance. We need to have balance with both, because when we have balance, we're in harmony. But when we are out of balance in one way or another, we have disharmony. And you've experienced this. So we grew up in a very, very masculine dominated culture. It's arguably still that way if you're still living in the traditional 9-to-5 world. The online business world of female entrepreneurs has absolutely started to shift into feminine, and I'm living for it, like living for it. But again, balance. is key. Balance is necessary. So we have to understand how to work with it. And it's often uncomfortable for a lot of women to tap into their feminine energetics because we live in such a masculine dominated world. The masculine energy is the doing energy. It is the energy that brings things to life. When we think about it in our society, it's the hustle culture. It's the having to do. I like to use Gary Vee as the prime example of what masculine energy looks like. He is all about living on pennies, selling all of these things, not really nourishing yourself, going, working, always producing. There's no room for the being. And that's what leads to burnout. And especially as women entrepreneurs, because we are females, it's going to burn us out even more because we really do need to have the nourishing energy of the feminine in order to support ourselves, to support our bodies, to support our businesses, to support our families. I always like to explain this, that the brains of males and women are literally wired differently. Men are able to compartmentalize almost everything. And we see that. We see that in business. We have seen that in the business industry. I like to think that the baby boomers are the perfect generation example of masculine energy and a heavy dominated masculine energy, because all of these businesses came out and it was all about how can we make money. Nobody gave a shit about what they were doing to the environment. People really didn't care too much about the well-being of their employees. It was, how can my business make money? I don't care what the cost is to anyone else. I'm going to cut costs knowing that it's going to harm the environment. I don't care. I care about me now, my business now, making money now. I care about people showing up to work, working, and I don't care if they are burnt out. I don't care how they are feeling emotionally. I don't care what their mental health looks like. I just need them to show up 5 days a week, be here working and being someone who is getting the job done. And that's arguably what our schools are still teaching us, because we still have a factory schooling system in place. If you're not aware, and this will be a huge tangent if I go off on it, but the schooling system that we have in place is kept to make you an employee, an obedient employee. And an obedient employee doesn't speak up when they need something for themselves because they weren't raised in an environment that taught them it was okay. And that's why there's a lot of deconditioning that we need to do around business as female business owners, because this does not resonate with us. The males and the male brain can really compartmentalize, this is somebody who works for me, and not seeing them as a human being, seeing them as a producer. Where women will never, ever be able to do that, because women's brains are completely the opposite. Women's brains bring everything together. There isn't a compartmentalization. And that is why women in business are so powerful, because women in business are going to change the paradigm of business, how we see it. And I'm going to do an entire podcast episode on this because I have so much to say on this topic. But I just want to mention here briefly that when women are in business, they think about their family. They think about their customers. They think about the well-being of their team. They think about the community, the collective. They think about how they can give back. It is never about just them. It is about we. And this is why women have not only always traditionally been the caretaker of the home, but they're also the emotional support for the entire family, because they aren't able to compartmentalize the money from the health, from the happiness, from any of it. And this is what's so beautiful when women get into business, because they're making money not just for them, but to give back, and give back to the community, give back to their family, give back in so many different ways. And this is how we're, one, going to save the goddamn planet from the climate crisis that the baby boomer masculine toxic culture got us into. And two, they're going to change the face of business as we know it. It's literally a time where men are going to take a back seat and women are going to say, honey, watch me thrive. Because women are the ones, when they stand in their power, that can truly transform the world and shift us into the paradigm of the age of Aquarius, where we are creating conscious businesses that are helping us grow, that are helping raise the frequency of the planet and breaking generational curses, healing ourselves on a level that we are healing our lineage so that our future generation does not have to bear the burdens of these shackles and of a dying planet that they're going to have to face a war for natural resources, because that's where we're going if we don't shift the planet. And thankfully, we have started to shift. And women will be the forefront of this shift. Women will be the ones that birth this new paradigm. Men had their chance and it didn't go well, okay? Women are stepping up. And granted, of course, not everyone is going to do this, but that's how there will still remain a balance, because the traditional masculine dominated business world isn't probably going to go anywhere. But the more women that step into their power as business owners and build brands that are changing the world, that is what's going to help even it out, because we do need to balance these scales. So let's talk about masculine. And it's not that masculine energy is bad. When you hear people talk about toxic masculine energy, we're talking about just that. What I just talked about, how people are getting burnt out, how people are depressed and suicidal and anxious because they're working so much. And most people are living in poverty and they're spending their lives working themselves to death in a job where they're miserable, only going because they need to have money to pay the bills and they just barely have that. That's toxic masculinity, when it's all work, 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 and we don't care about the human that's doing the work. There is nothing bad with masculine energy. There's nothing bad with feminine energy. But with everything, it has to be in balance. And there's some beautiful things happening in the male world where there are some amazing men, light workers, that are doing like the most beautiful, beautiful soul work with men. Garen Jones is the perfect example of a man who has healed himself, who understands the power of brotherhood, and he's really helping to unite this. It's just beautiful to see. Aubrey Marcus is a really great example of this as well, who are honoring the strength and the beauty that is the masculine, but are also embracing the fact that they do need to be held, supported, and have a safe space for their emotions to be shared and witnessed. So there are some beautiful, beautiful transitions happening. But I coach women. So we're going to be talking mostly in the world of women. I just want to put it out there that when I give an example of how it has been and how it's been toxic, I can also show you an example of how there's a beautiful change happening. Now, as far as the masculine energy, what this looks like is it is the doing, right? It's the bringing things to life. The masculine energy is really the action. It's the structure. It is the bringing to life. It's the doing the work that actually facilitates the thing coming to life. It's the logical side. It's the implementation. What that looks like in business. So for me, I'll give you an example so it's super, super clear on what this looks like in business. For me, it's having structures and having systems in place that allow my business to work for me. It allows my business to be working while I am nourishing myself, while I am tapped into the feminine energetics so that I can receive. So masculine looks like, for me, I have this podcast, I have a YouTube channel, I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram account. I post on my Instagram and my TikTok almost every single day. I share valuable content. I share my wisdom. I educate people. And I also invite people into my world, right? My mentorship container. I have a mentorship that I offer. I also create programs and I have different offerings that I invite people into. Now, by doing this and by creating these things, when I do this, I'm tapping into my masculine energy. So when I decide that I want to create a program, I go heavy in on my masculine energy and I build the program. I come up with the details about it. I decide the time frame. I decide all of the different aspects, who's going to be in it, what's the price point, all of the different things, all of the building. I have a website, right? That's another thing. I put the things on my website so people can buy the things. This is the masculine energy. And it's also the systems that you have in place. So you're running a business, right? In order to run a business, you have to have a foundation. The masculine energy is the foundation. It's what supports you as a female business owner being able to take the time that she needs for herself, for her family, for the community, whatever it may be. But the masculine energy is what allows you to have the space that you need, because the masculine is going to really create the things that are going to make you money in your business, so that way you can create the space that you need to channel new ideas, to nourish yourself, mind, body, and soul, to allow divine downloads to come through. So the masculine looks like, what do you have in place in your business so that you're not working 24/7, but your business can still be making money? And that's by having ways for people to work with you. It's by having invitations for people to come into your world. And what's great about this is if you're somebody that has a program that's reoccurring, you really only have to build the program once and build the launch sequence once and build the materials, the marketing materials, and what you're going to say. Doing all of that, like the marketing aspect, is the masculine aspect of business. The strategies in business, those are the masculine aspects. And those are so important to have in place, because without them, you're not going to be generating money. You're not going to be creating anything. You're going to have a really expensive hobby because no one can get into your world. No one can pay you. And these are essential for a business because you just need to have these things in place. This looks like onboarding clients, offboarding clients. It looks like the customer service of getting people into your programs and the customer experience that they go through. But if you have a reoccurring program, then it's like you just open the doors and you can reuse the content. You already know what you're going to say. You already know what the program's about. So when you relaunch it, it's not as masculine driven. And so this is where you're going to see that there are seasons, right? When you first decide to create a community, create a program, create something in your business, you really do need to tap into that masculine energy to build the thing. The masculine energy is the building aspect of the energetics. It's the foundation that's going to support you and support your business for sustainable growth. Now, here's the thing though. In order for it to be sustainable growth, there has to be a healthy balance. And what happens to a lot of, especially newer entrepreneurs, is that, and especially in the marketing world and the coaching world, we were taught by bro marketers at the beginning of coaching. It was really men dominating the world, telling you to go out and DM 20 different people, do cold DMs. It was all of the really sleazy strategies of build a webinar and have people sign up for your webinar and tell them that they're going to learn all of these things. But in reality, it's just you talking about the thing for an hour and then you sell them into a program where you actually talk about it. And I'm honestly witnessing a lot of women who claim to be in their feminine energetics in business who do the same thing. They show up and they pretend like they're giving you value, but they're really just talking vaguely, and then they give you nothing tangible. And they're like, but you need to be in proximity to me. So join my program, join my mastermind, join my coaching. And I really, really do not vibe with the pretending to be feminine energetics, but we're really just bringing back bro marketing and infusing the feminine energetics world. So we're not getting anywhere. And the problem is there's some big coaches making big money who are doing this. And I only follow them just so I can see the trends of the industry that we're in. But it's really tragic to me that these women are promoting these things. Like, they're the ones that are telling you to get into proximity to them. They're the ones that are telling you that the only way you're going to be successful in business is if you invest insane amounts of money. And I did a post on this. The women that are making $700,000 a month or plus that are telling you that you need to invest an insane amount of money to get the growth. They're telling you that because they believe that, because that's when they saw their business grow. But that does not mean, and it is not the only way for you to grow a business. And if anything, it's going back to the bro marketing world where a woman would invest in a coach and she would invest 10K in the coach. And then that coach would be investing 20K in that coach. And then that coach would be investing 30K. It creates this hierarchy where it puts one person on a pedestal and everyone else is trickling down. And everyone that's trickling down from that person on the pedestal sounds the same, is saying the same things, is creating the same things, is showing up basically the same, losing their identity while claiming that they are a leader in the industry, but they don't show up like themselves. And it's making a lot of women feel really bad about themselves, about where they're at in their business. It's really doing more of a disservice than it's doing any good. I get that their intention is to activate people, but that's not what's happening. And especially if you're an emotional authority in human design, they are dishonoring your emotional authority. So if you're an emotional authority, do not invest in these coaches because they do not understand your emotional authority. They have sacral authorities or splenic authorities, and they just don't get it. So that just needs to be said because it's not talked about enough. So yes, masculine is important. Yes, there needs to be a foundation. But if women keep trying to build businesses like men told them to build businesses, you're going to be burnt out. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to have adrenal fatigue. It's going to stress you the fuck out. And then it's going to make your nervous system feel so unsafe with your business that it's not going to allow you to grow anymore because the way you built your business was not sustainable. And the idea of getting to a higher income month is going to literally zap you because your nervous system is going to be like, we can't fucking handle any more work. We can't handle any more hustle. We can't handle any more doing. We really need to rest. So this is when the feminine energetics comes into play because so many women learn from male business coaches that told them that they had to do all of these things. They needed to have a program that was a 16-week program that has homework every week and that does this, that, and the other thing. Jesus Christ. Like, if somebody was like, join my 16-week program, I would be like, fuck no. Why the fuck would I be in a 16-week program? If you have a PowerPoint for 16 weeks, like, see you later. That is so masculine. Like, you don't need 16 weeks to learn something. You don't need 16 weeks to master something. That is just giving you more and more information in a longer time frame, so it's more information for your brain to try and absorb, and it's less actionable because it's taking too fucking long and it's giving you too much. And that is the masculine business that we're seeing. And I like to break it down this way because when I break it down like this, you're going to be able to notice the people that you see on your feed. Oh, she is super masculine. I don't vibe with that. Or, oh, she's inner feminine. That really resonates with me. I really like the way that she's doing business. And you'll be able to witness these shifts, which is perfect because that helps you understand who you want to work with, who you want to learn from, who you want to surround yourself with, who you want to aspire to be, what type of business you want to create, how you want to do business for you. So the feminine aspect on the other side is the receiving. It is the ease, it is the flow, it is the nourishment, it is the honoring of yourself. It is the fact that you are a female business owner, but you might have a family that you want to spend time with. You might love traveling the world. You might be someone like me that likes to cook 3 home cooked meals a day, so you need time. Or you might really love working out, so you really want to have time and space for you to be able to do those things. Whatever you're really passionate about, the things that really light you up, the mind, body, soul fulfillment aspect, that's what the feminine is. And the way that that shows up in business is it's really creating either spaces throughout the day for you to incorporate some feminine time, whether it's you having a really nourishing morning routine and then at lunch you go outside and go out on a walk without any technology. So you're allowing divine downloads to come through. Or maybe you go to a yoga class in the middle of the day. Or maybe you have a break and you do a midday meditation, or you do a prayer or a ceremony or something like that. So you bring yourself back into your embodied feminine. And the embodiment aspect is really the feminine. Now, it's not all about just lighting sage and sitting there and channeling and going all spiritual, because what happens with that is you get these divine downloads, but if you're not using action to put them into life, then you're going to feel like you don't know what to do in your business. You're going to feel like you lack clarity, you lack motivation. It's going to feel like you have all of these ideas, but you don't know how to implement any of them. And that's what it looks like when you're too much in the feminine. So there's a toxic feminine and there's also a healthy feminine as well. You need both, because the feminine is going to give you the idea, the download to create something, and the masculine is going to give you the energy to create it, to bring it to life. Now you need both, right? Because if you're constantly focusing on your business, if you're someone that feels like she can never shut off her mind, if you're always thinking about your business, then you're not giving yourself any space to receive. You're always thinking about what more can I do instead of who can I be. The being is the feminine. And that allows you to really be like, okay, so these were the systems I put in place today. These are the foundations I have in my business. These are the invitations I put out. This is what I've invited people into in my world. And now I'm going to trust that I did everything that I needed to do. That the people that are meant to be in my world, that the people are meant to be in this offer, that the people are going to have the most transformative experience, that my soulmate clients are going to be aligned to this because I did what I needed to do. And now I need to trust myself and have faith in the universe that because I have these foundations in place, I now get to nourish myself. I now get to enjoy cooking a meal. I now get to enjoy being present with my children. I now get to be out in nature and really be witnessing it. Then have this ability to be present in the moment because you have this faith and this trust in yourself and in the universe. And while you're out living your life and doing things that light you up, that's when you're going to get these really inspired ideas of what to create next in your business, or possibly completely blow your business up and start over. Or if you want to start another business or whatever it may be, you might channel a podcast episode. You might have a YouTube channel where you come up with great content. Anything in the universe can spark an inspiration in you. But if you're not fully present in the moment because you're trying to force something in your business, you're going to have so much resistance that you will not, and resistance is the masculine, that you're not going to have the ease and the flow that the feminine supports. And this really talks about manifestation principles, right? Because you're taught in manifestation, in order for you to be able to manifest, you have to trust the universe. You have to trust that you live in a supportive universe. You have to trust that the desires on your heart were put there for a reason. You have to trust that the visions that you have, the visions you have for your life, no matter how grandiose they were put there by the divine for you to act as a channel of the divine, to create it, to bring it to life. Trust that even if it sounds so insane and out of this world, that you are one of the light workers that were put here to birth the new paradigm of business. So it's all about, how can you have masculine strategies, masculine structure that supports the foundation of your business? And then how can you sprinkle in the feminine flow, the nourishment, mind, body, and soul that you need as a business owner to be able to be the creative channel that comes up with new business offerings, products, whatever industry you're in, a new way of doing business if you are in a business world where you are shifting things. And there's so much potency in all of it. And we all get to decide how we want to show up. But it's about this balance, because this balance is what makes it sustainable. When you're able to tap into the masculine energy to bring a program to life, and then you release the program, you open it up, you're in your launch, and you're able to sit back and trust and flow. And instead of trying to post more content about the launch and the product and your services, it's about knowing that what you posted was amazing, knowing that the marketing you had is great, and trusting that the people are going to find it, see it, receive it, and they're going to reach out to you, or they're going to sign up. And this is the faith portion of it. And that aligns with manifestation, because in manifestation, the feminine is the creative vision of what you want. And then the masculine is taking the inspired action to make it manifest. If you just have a bunch of ideas of what you want in your life, but you're not taking any action to get there, they're never going to manifest. That's one thing that ends up being a problem with the law of attraction teachings. Don't talk enough about the law of action, which is another universal law, which we don't have time to get into, but we've spoken about it. Action is what brings things into this world. We are co-creating, and that's what the co-creation process is, receiving divine downloads, and then us as a 3D being taking the action to bring it to life. So you can use all of this in terms of manifestation in your business to bring harmony to yourself. When you start noticing that you're feeling really distracted, you're feeling like you have a bunch of ideas, but you're not sure how to really bring them to life, when you're feeling like you just don't know what the next move is, when you feel kind of lost, when you are lacking motivation or energy, you've tapped too far into the feminine, and you need to start pulling yourself out. You need to start taking some action. You need to start doing the things. Because here's the thing, right? Messy action is the only way you actually learn. And messy action is the only way you get clear. Because clarity doesn't come from trying to have more things in your head. And that's what often people will do. You have to start taking action, because then you're like, oh, well, that didn't feel good. That didn't work. And action also allows you to evaluate the results to see what's working, what's not working. Now, on the other hand, if you're super burnt out, if you feel like your adrenals are completely fatigued, if you just feel like you can't shut your mind off and you're constantly thinking about work and hustling more and more, that is a sign that you need to tap more into your feminine. And this helps you to allow yourself to rest, for you to take some time off, for you to create space, for you to really get your body back in sync, to really listen to your body, right? Because the feminine is the intuition. It's your intuition. The masculine is more of the logical brain, mind and body. We need to be able to work together, and soul. It's all important to have this balance, and it shows up in so many ways because it does affect your physical health as well. So that's how it all really ties together. And that's how you can really start to understand, where am I at right now in my business? Do I feel like when Alexa's talking about the masculine, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so me. And then when she talks about feminine, I'm like, ooh, I'm not really comfortable with that. Or is it the opposite? And when I talk about masculine, you're like, ooh, I don't know, that seems like a lot. And when I talk about feminine, you're like, oh yeah, that feels really good. Because we have to be able to identify where we're at personally and then where we're at in our business. And then we can look at, okay, like what are the results I'm seeing when I'm in this energy or when I'm in this energy? And this gives us a way to really evaluate how we're showing up, whether it's working, if there's little tweaks that we can make instead of just throwing it all away and saying, well, nobody signed up for this program, so it's garbage. It's looking at it and saying, okay, well, when I created this program, did I stay in my masculine energy the whole time? When I was launching, was I totally in a masculine energy, so I was chaotic and I didn't allow any space to receive clients? Or was it that you were so much in your flow that and in your feminine that you posted about the program once, you never talked about it again, so of course nobody bought it, like using these are a great way to assess where you're at. And by listening to your body and tuning in and really feeling your feelings and where you're at physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, this helps you to be able to start going back into balance and really being able to master your energetics and the internal world. And now we are going to go so deep into this and really apply it to you in your life in my mastermind Plugged In. And we're going to go so deep into energetics and talking about so much more. Like, how can you stay plugged into the energy where there's infinite potentiality to be created? And one of the things is going to be the balancing of the masculine and feminine, but we're going to get into so much more than that. So if you're someone that was like, oh my God, this podcast was so good, but I'm just not exactly sure how to work with this in my business, then girl, Plugged In is totally the space for you. I'm so excited about this mastermind. Like, I could squeal. I'm so excited. This is probably the most excited I have ever been for anything I've ever created in my life, because this is what I've been working on for the past 6 months. And I do not even recognize me. The version of me in my business, in my life 6 months ago, I am not the same. And this is something that, like, once you tap into it, you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. You might want to unplug sometimes, but you're going to know, no, unplugging is not going to help me. When I stay plugged in, that's how I'm able to create the most out of this world results, because I'm not allowing myself to let the external world dictate my reality. I am deciding to hold my personal power no matter what. All in. This is what we're doing. So universe, give me the divine downloads that I need. I'm willing to take the action. Let's go. Let's co-create together. All right, so before I completely lose my voice today, I'm going to end this one here, but I would really love to know how this landed for you. Did this help clarify how you can use these two different types of energy in your business? Did this help make you realize what energy you've been in too much of and now helps you understand how to balance it? I would love for you to DM me and tell me what landed for you in this episode, because when you're able to have something land and then you share it with somebody, it really gets embodied. So let me know how this went for you. DM me on Instagram at Alexa Ray Smith, and I am so excited to hear from you.